like to see somebody, uh, use what they have to the max and like
Mhm.
not waste their opportunity. This is Climbing Gold.
Your career as a climber has like taken you around the world. It's put you in rooms with people that are world leaders, famous actors. Like we were talking earlier, and you didn't even know the difference between. You're like, was it Brad Pitt or George Clooney? Right? Like it's given you incredible access to culture on this huge level. And I guess, are there people out there in a sort of broad space that you look up to?
Are you saying non-athletes specifically, or
Yeah,
just?
non-athletes, or even like non-climbing athletes. Like, are there people that you really admire?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of non-climbing athletes that I'm inspired by. I mean, somebody like LeBron James, who's worked very hard for a very long time and just shown up consistently. Or, I mean, Kobe Bryant, who was kind of the same way. He really did the most with what he had for his entire career. Tom Brady, same sort of thing, where like he definitely did the most with what he had for his entire career and like really made it last and excelled.
Have you had a chance to meet LeBron?
No, no, never
No.
met him.
Yeah.
No, I've only met a couple like NBA or NFL players, like a handful of folks who are good, but not like the biggest stars.
Yeah. Do you think it's like that, getting the most out of like kind of what you're given? Because LeBron like has had just such like a long career at this like such high level. And do you think every athlete aspires to having that? Because like most athletes don't get that, like their bodies don't hold up, or they haven't been able to quite do the work. Like there's so many reasons like that stop that from happening.
Mm.
Um, is that like, do you think that's what kind of like captures your imagination when you see someone like LeBron who's able to just do it for so long? Because you've done it for a long time too.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's cool to see. I mean, the thing is, you have no control over the hand that you're dealt, but you have a lot of control over the way you play your hand. And I
Mm-hmm.
like seeing athletes who have played their hand really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think LeBron has played his hand really freaking well. It's
Yeah.
like he's never really had any big injuries. He's never had any big personal blowouts, or it's like I like to see somebody uh, use what they have to the max and like
Mm-hmm.
not waste their opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that with a lot of the greats who've performed for a long time, you're like, oh, they've really made it count.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, in the non athletic space, I'm trying to think of who I'm like really inspired by. Yeah, I mean, I guess like entrepreneurs of some kind. I mean, anybody who creates something out of nothing, I think is, I'm sort of inspired by.
Mm-hmm. You've got a pretty scientific mind. Uh, you've always said you'd probably be building bridges or something like that if you weren't a professional climber. But like, are there scientists you've gotten to meet that have, really inspired you, or you've connected with? Because like, you've done TED Talks. You've been doing incredible work with National Geographic in terms of some of the films and the shows you're making.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, there have been a lot, but I'd say there's some that stick with me. I mean, Hugh Hare, honestly, who we interviewed for Climbing Gold, but
Yeah.
who I also met at the TED conference and whose lab I've gotten to tour at MIT before. I mean, somebody like that. In some ways, I think that I mean, a lot of those kinds of people that I've met, I don't know them well enough to be like truly inspired by what they're doing, because you just meet them and you're like, oh wow, what an amazing person, but you don't really know them. I think with Hugh, or with
Yeah.
Professor Hare, I should say, it's like I know him well enough to be really impressed by what he's done, and seeing the lab is just so amazing.